With over a decade of Highlander seasons being played in Europe's main league, ETF2L, you could be forgiven for not knowing the names of some of the big players or teams who conquered the top divisions in that time. With 25 ETF2L seasons, over 30 UGC seasons, 4 LANs, and many other tournaments, I thought it was about time I give a rundown on the history of Highlander in Europe. I've identified 4 main eras that I feel the past 10 years or so could be divided into. While there were minor tournaments and ladders before this, Highlander really sprouted on the scene in 2010 with the ETF2L Highlander Challenge Cup, inviting players new to competitive TF2 to participate in a tournament. With an undefeated record throughout the tournament, the winners were SNSD, and they became Europe's first Highlander dynasty. After winning all 10 games en route to the Highlander Challenge Cup crown, SNSD continued in the same vein of form through the start of ETF2L's league seasons, winning every game of the first 2 seasons of Division 1, at the time the highest tier of Highlander, netting them back-to-back titles. Season 3 of ETF2L saw the rebranding of the top tier as the Premiership Division, which also introduced playoffs. SNSD continued the formality of winning every game during a season, as well as taking victory in the final for their 3rd ETF2L title in a row. During this time, their main roster consisted of some well-known 6v6 stars. Kaelis on Demo, Tavik on Sniper, and Drozo on Scout all played at the highest level of 6v6, something that was all too common to see in Highlander teams at the time. This would change with some competition in Season 4 however, but it didn't stop SNSD's march to winning every game of the regular season yet again. From the beginning of League Highlander in ETF2L, SNSD had won 21 matches in a row without dropping a single map, as well as the Challenge Cup and the first ever Experimental Cup, adding a further 13 victories to that streak. They were undoubtedly the number 1 team in Europe, prompting them to be invited to EU versus NA show matches, leading to this classic clip.
Pull out that scope, takes down Saba. He's gonna peek out the window now. Max gonna get a shot onto the medic here. Is not gonna hit it. He's gonna look out the window. He's gonna oh my god, man!
Unbelievable. The sucker type's nice one in there. A true gentleman, European gentleman, even when bested. Gracious in defeat. That's what I'm going to take away from that, DJC.
The final of Season 4 would see that all change. While SNSD had dominated with Premiership 6's players, another team followed suit, Daratutu. The all-French lineup brought along top 6's players such as Flippy, Tech, T-Mac and more. The side would cause the biggest upset to EU Highlander to date, winning 2 maps against SNSD in the grand final without dropping a single round, being crowned champions of ETF2L and the first side to beat SNSD in an official match ever. The clear superiority of these 2 teams over the competition almost made me call this time period the 6's era. Many of the players were on classes that were not their 6v6 mains, but were still very good at. This dynamic would soon change, and heading into Season 5, these 2 teams would probably not realise that this was the last time either of them would ever feature in the playoffs again. The first 4 seasons of ETF2L were dominated by players from top 6v6 Premiership teams, dominating on their main classes or being a round peg in a square hole as an off-class. Season 5 saw the rise of the Highlander mains, with teams consisting of players who completely mained those classes that aren't often seen in 6s. Daratutu and SNSD, the top 2 teams in Europe, would struggle all season and pick up just 7 wins between them out of a possible 24, finishing 4th and 5th in the table. 3 teams in their debut Premiership season would reach the playoffs, with Killswitch crowned champions after defeating High Panda in the grand final. Their lineup boasted Emilio Estevez, one of the strongest main callers in the game on Demo, Candle, one of the best pyros in the game at the time, and Keikot on Sniper, a player who came all the way from India and played with nearly 300 ping. Leading up to this, the side had already won 2 UGC Platinum titles, achievements that weren't considered the same prestige as ETF2L, but were a good spawning ground for teams to get game time and momentum. Heading into Season 6, Killswitch would not start a dynasty of their own. Instead, it was their final rivals from Season 5 that would take the top spot, High Panda. Led by another one of Highlander's strongest main callers, Hildreth on Demo, they also had Steve on Pyro, who played 8 seasons of Premiership and won Pyro of the Season each time, and Fremello on Sniper, who went on to play Tier 1 CSGO later in his career. This era also saw the rise of the so-called gun spy, spies who would utilise the ambassador more than their knife in order to fight at range. Snow from Killswitch, Solid from Highlander, and Inso from It's All Good were all seen as the top players to utilise the playstyle that would eventually be seen as the norm and best strategy in the coming seasons. ETF World Champions Highlander had previously won a season of Wireplay, another minor league that players would participate in during the off-season of ETF and was seen as arguably the strongest side in Europe at the time, being the first side since SNSD to be invited to EU vs NA show matches. They would reach the Premiership Grand Final again the following season, but would never win another title. Season 7 would see the rise of another team who would go on to break some records, Tourette's Chess Club. Earning promotion to the Premiership Division after winning Division 1, they would go on to achieve a highly respectable 3rd place finish in Season 6, and it was only up from there. Reaching the Grand Final in Season 7, they would overcome defending champions Highlander, crowning themselves top dogs in Europe. Their lineup consisted of the notorious Latvian superflank of Atomic and Ubers on Scout and Soldier respectively, Quintos on Demoman, who swapped to Engineer for the Grand Final, and Breakfast Jr. on Heavy, regarded as the best on his class in TF2 at the time. The lineup would see some changes as time went on, but the core remained the same, and Chess Club would go on to defend their title the following season, becoming only the second side to win back-to-back ETF2L titles, adding to their 2 UGC Platinum titles they had also won during this period. With the trophy cabinet filling up, discussion began over whether or not this squad was better than the legends of SNSD, and Chess Club would go on to win something that team didn't even have the chance to do, an offline title. The first Highlander-only LAN happened in 2015 in Germany, named Deutschland. Tourette's Chess Club would have arrived the favourites and leave as champions, beating Fair Enough in the Grand Final over 2 maps. They became the first team to simultaneously hold the ETF2L, UGC and LAN titles, and with all of the victories the prize money flowed in, making them the highest grossing Highlander team to date. Heading into the next season of ETF2L, they would attempt to emulate SNSD's 3 victories in a row. They would reach 2 more Premiership finals, but would never win another title after this season. Season 9 saw the rise of a new dynasty and the beginning of a new era. Strong Opinions were promoted into the Premiership Division for the season, and in their lineup had 3 former champions: Thalash, a former SNSD player, Emilio Estevez, Season 5 champion with Killswitch, and Steve, Season 6 champion with Highlander. These 3 combined with 6 Premiership debutants to reach the final in their first season and beat defending champions Tourette's Chess Club, becoming the 6th different winner of ETF2L. The dominance would continue for some time to come, winning the following 2 Premiership seasons, beating Fair Enough in the final of Season 10 and Tourette's Chess Club again in Season 11. This feat made them the first team since SNSD to win 3 ETF2L titles in a row. The lineup would also win 2 UGC Platinum titles during this period and headed into the 2016 edition of Deutschland as the strong favourites. They were going to win the tournament, beating Fair Enough in the Grand Final in 2 maps and cement themselves as the most successful Highlander team in Europe. They emulated Tourette's Chess Club by holding the ETF2L, UGC and LAN titles all at the same time. But their story was far from over. Out of the 8 Premiership seasons Strong Opinions participated in between Season 9 and 18, they won 6 and finished runners-up in the other 2. During this time they broke SNSD record win streak with 55 match wins in a row without defeat. Toward the later seasons, the lineup changed somewhat, with NA sniper Boar winning back-to-back MVP of the season awards, Adiski being an integral part of the team on demo, and Toast remaining on Spy, his ambassador aim being key in him being the first Spy to be crowned MVP of the season. 6 Premiership titles put them at double the amount of the closest team, SNSD. After the end of Deutschland, another Highlander offline event appeared at Copenhagen Games. Strong Opinions would attend the 2018 event with their original lineup, claiming victory and a large part of the €3,000 reward. Prize money was also flowing at 2 separate invitational events organised by Blackout TV, where victory saw them overtake Tourette's Chess Club as the highest grossing Highlander team of all time. Returning to Copenhagen Games in 2019, Strong Opinions claimed a third LAN victory, and as the side had been crowned champions at 3 out of the 4 Highlander LANs to have ever happened. Shortly after this, the team called time on playing. 6 Premiership titles, 2 UGC titles, 2 Invitationals, 3 LANs, and over $6,500 of prize money. Strong Opinions were the most successful and highest grossing Highlander team of all time, and many saw it hard for that achievement to ever be surpassed. With the lack of funding means financially they may never be overtaken. In terms of title wins, another behemoth was just around the corner. Super Dickmans Kanonen, or SDCK for short, were a team that had been around for quite some time already. Reaching the Premiership in Season 11 and finishing 3rd, the team would go through playing seasons and taking breaks in the early stages. Being the first and only team to beat Strong Opinions in an ETF2L Grand Final, they won Seasons 12 and 13 of ETF2L, beating them in both instances. The lineup in the early days consisted of the likes of Jackie Legs, the most successful individual in ETF2L Highlander with 12 Premiership victories to his name, who, alongside Clark on Engineer, also holds the record for most class awards, winning Soldier of the Season 10 times. Yahoo surpassed Steve's record of 8 Pyre of the Season awards by winning 9 himself, and Sandburn being an integral part of the combo, swapping between heavy and demo during his seasons with the team. SDCK would win Season 17 of ETF2L and tie SNSD in 2nd place for most amount of Premiership wins with 3. However, the story was far from over. Following Strong Opinions' last appearance in Season 18, SDCK would go on a rampage of record-breaking feats and would cement themselves as the dominant team of the period and the most successful team in Europe's history. Towards the end of that time, the roster saw some changes, with Mezzo on Spy holding the record for most MVP awards in Highlander with 4. While on Sniper, Redrix became part of a unique group of players who managed to win the hat-trick of awards at the end of the season: their class, debut, and MVP. 7 ETF2L Premiership title wins in a row would see SDCK double the record of 3 in a row held jointly by SNSD and Strong Opinions, and becoming the most successful team overall with 10 total titles. They would also win UGC Platinum 12 times out of 14 seasons, also a record, finishing runners-up the other 2 instances. Other achievements would be double wins in Fruit Mixes, Projectlander and the Russian Highlander League, as well as winning tournaments in Eurolander and HL Mixes. It was safe to say if you were participating in a Highlander tournament at the highest level, SDCK would be the team to beat. But no one did, at least not in ETF2L. The closest team to them during this period would be Failer Esports, who now hold the unfortunate record of most 2nd places in ETF2L Premiership without ever winning. 10 times they have been defeated in the Grand Final. At the time of this video, the SDCK era is still going. There's only 2 questions. How long will it last? And will any team ever surpass their achievements? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching the video everyone, I hope you enjoyed. Take care and I'll see you next time.